Very good evening, guys. Welcome to Network Ethics. So today's session is the day two demo session in a 5 firewall compo training, which we are going to start soon on 17th May, right? It's coming Wednesday, May 2023. Okay, right? 17th May 2023, we are going to start. And that batch, since we are going to start with that batch with Palo Alto firewall. So as I said, yesterday's session in a day one demo session, today I'm going to take uh, one topic in sorry, in Palo Alto. The topic name is high availability. Okay, so today we are going to I'm going to teach you what is high availability and how to implement high availability in Palo Alto firewalls. What are the types of high availability modes we have in Palo Alto networks, and in that today we are going to do lab with one high availability mode called active passive high availability. Okay, so that lab we are going to perform it, guys. Okay, so I'm going to give you the theoretical knowledge as well as practical knowledge on it. So since it's a demo, so the simple topology we are going to use today, because in a real time when we are going to take this topic in a sorry guys, in a live session. So here you are going to see some more huge topologies. Like as of now, simple topology in my LAN side, I have only one test PC, and sorry, my LAN side, and this is my management PC. Okay, so so this is my management PC of my uh, sorry, actually this is WAN. I'm really sorry guys, this is my WAN network. Okay, so internet, not management PC. Okay, I'll do this correction in while doing lab. Okay, so this is a simple topology which we are going to use it for our today's lab scenario, guys. Okay, so let's go into the our today's session. So we are going to discuss about high availability. You can share with your thoughts with me as well. So tell me, guys, what is high availability? What is the important? What is mean by high availability, and why it is very important? Okay, you can share with your thoughts. What is high availability, guys? What is the important of high availability in a protection network? Okay, let's assume this is my LAN network and this is my WAN network. Okay, so okay, okay, guys. So in case, just forget about another our backup device. So this device, I'm having only one Palo Alto firewall. In case this is this simple network architecture I have in my network, right? So I have one Palo Alto firewall, and that is connected with my LAN segment. Okay, and that Palo Alto firewall connecting with ISP. Okay, so now my Palo Alto firewall is acting a mediator between the outside world and internal network, right? So it's going to be a mediator because it is help us to connect with your internet, and then internet users to help us help to connect with your our internal use internal network as well, right? So it's a mediator. Right now it's act like a mediator, and not only it's just in a mediator, or it's going to ensure your infrastructure security, right? So it has to do lot of uh, or like so if you want to allow some traffic or deny some traffic, your in case your internal users, LAN users, want to access some internet services, so whether you we are going to allow or deny that, your firewall is going to decide based as administrator what we are going to create the rule. Based on that rule, your Palo Alto firewall is going to take a decision, right? And not it's going to allow unnecessary traffic, where whatever the traffic we are willing to, as administrator we want to allow the traffic, and that we are going to create a rule, and based on that rule your Palo Alto firewall is going to allow that. And not only your Palo Alto firewall, it's not only just examining that traffic, it's responsible for already in this infrastructure, it's responsible for uh, it is acting as a mediator, routing it, right? So it's forwarding your internal users to external services or internet services to access some other services over the internet, and your external users also, if they want to access your internal resources, so that in that time that your Palo Alto firewall is responsible, right? So it's here we are deployed as a L3 device. So when you're deploying your Palo Alto firewall as a L3 device, it's responsible for routing, right? So it's responsible for NAT, it's responsible for VPN traffic, right? Along with that, it's doing its own workload like firewalling, like filtering the traffic and then monitoring the traffic, right? So filter and monitor the traffic. So it has to do lot of job. And in case, let's assume I have only one firewall here. In case this firewall is crashed, in case this gateway fire right now I have deployed as a perimeter firewall. Okay, so this device is crashed, then what will happen, guys? This is the mediator to connect your internal users to the external network and external users to connect with your internal users, right? So in case this device is crashed, until unless your device, you're going to replace one more device, right? So your internal LAN users not able to communicate with the internet services, and internet users not able to communicate with your internal resources. Okay. Right, guys, let's say if, as of now we are doing work from home. So if all are we are all are trying to connect with the SSL VPN, and we are doing a work from home, right? So from that we are accessing your office resources from your home network, right? So internet, through internet, right? So in in that case, your firewall will establish that SSL VPN, right? So as a gateway devices, so it is responsible for that as well. So what will happen in case your device is crashed? Your external, I mean employee is also not able to, just forget about providing the services. So you're giving the features to access your internal resources on your for your employees to take to while doing a work from home, right? So that also not possible in case if your device is crashed, right, guys? So now what will happen if if you are doing this kind of deployment? This deployment is called linear deployment in your network. If you are using these kind of infrastructure, this is called linear deployment. So in your infrastructure where the perimeter devices are the distribution layer devices, right? So the core layer devices, so which is handling the more traffic, right? So which is act like a backbone for your infrastructure, that devices need a backup device as well. So if you are using only single device, in case of any hardware related issue or software related issue, right, or connectivity related issue, until and unless you're fixing that, your internal users will not able to access external services, and external users will not able to access the internal services as well, guys. So because of that, what will happen? Let's say you're running on e-commerce website, so you're deploying on Palo Alto firewall as a perimeter firewall. Your website hosting, you're hosting in your data center. So this is, let's assume this is the data center, and here you have one web server, so the e-commerce site. So your as a outside users, for your users, right? Those who want to purchase something on your website, they need to access your web server, right? So in case while accessing that web server, so this gateway device is crashed, what will happen, guys? So users will not able to access the web server. If users will not able to access the web server, your business will not happen properly, right? So your your business will be affected, right? So to avoid the business, to ensure your business always in run properly, you should have always, you should ensure your uptime of your network, guys. So you should, your network should be always available. Okay, so for that you need a backup device to make sure, in case in that scenario, let's say I have another firewall, backup firewall, instead of this one, right? Instead of single firewall linear deployment, if I'm having a backup device as well, in case this device goes down, as soon as this device goes down, my backup device will come up and it will make sure my network connectivity all in always in a uptime, guys. Okay, so this device, when I have a backup, so any in case of anything, so I can make sure my network availability always to my customers, so that I can run my business in a proper way, and I can give my business link to the customers and always available. Okay, so that's the reason we need one more backup devices to run. It's very important when you're, because all the business are nowadays running based on the internet only, right? So you need to provide always available to your clients. Your services need to be always available to your clients, right? So for that we need this backup device, guys. Okay, this backup, we need alternate device or these linear deployment. When this linear deployment is crashed, so that's called failover, guys. Okay, this is called failover. When your the core device, the device which is crashed, which is handling the most of the traffic flow, right? So here, so in the as per this topology, so this device is goes down, you have to replace another device until unless you are not able to provide the reachability to your clients. So this is called failover. It's your connectivity failure, right? So link failure has happened, reachability is not there, and if you want to overcome that, you need a one more backup device. So that backupping processes here we called as a failover or high availability, guys. High availability means you need to make sure your business always in uptime. You're going to provide the your network uptime, and you're going to try to provide your network uptime 100 percentage. Okay, so it will reduce, you have to reduce your minimum outages, network outages or your services outages, right? So for that we need a backup device as well, guys. So this concept is called failover or high availability. So when I overcome my existing device, in case my existing devices get fail, so I need to carry forward my traffic, my existing traffic in my network, and my new traffic in my network I have to process without any delay. So I need to provide, I need to always in available, right? So I need to make sure I'm available always, right? So this concept is called failover or high availability, guys. Okay, so in Palo Alto we call it as a high availability. So this high availability, okay, so what is high availability? So it should provide the redundancy and load sharing. So I'll tell you what is load sharing later. So as of now, we whatever we discussed, right? So in that scenario, right? One scenario we have discussed, right? So real time scenario. So that is called redundancy. We need a redundancy when your primary devices goes down. The alternate device always should be in a waking state, and it should be carry forward the your network traffic, guys. Okay, so that is redundancy. Okay, and also your high availability, you can use it for load sharing in a huge environment like the streaming medium, like when you're using a right multicast kind of things like uh, OTT platform, or where the maximum users are utilizing, right? So in that case you need to do with the load sharing. So load sharing means, however, in this scenario, the existing go to your topology. So in my infrastructure, okay, right now I have two firewalls. The when I'm going to using as a redundancy or failover, in that case, only simultaneously one device will run and one device will take care all traffic flows, okay, LAN to WAN and WAN to LAN any direction. So one device will take care the traffic flow, and another device will be in a waking state, but it will not take it will not further forward the data traffic, guys. It will be always in a waiting stage. It will wait for your primary device outages. In case primary devices outages happen, your secondary device will be come up to the picture and it will carry forward the traffic, guys. Okay, so this is called redundancy. Okay, or this redundancy we call it in Palo Alto active passive high availability. Okay, this redundancy concept we are only I'm using for redundancy purpose. Okay, in this deployment, even though I have a two firewalls, so if I'm going to use only for redundancy purpose, so one device always will take care of my live traffic, another device will be in a waking state. So when your my primary device which is already carry forward the traffic, right, so that device goes down, then it will come up to the picture and it will take care of the traffic. So that deployment is called in high availability deployment. And in high availability, this type of deployment we call it as a active passive high availability deployment mode, guys. Okay, so active passive, so when you're using active passive, in that case that will become a redundancy. It will act like only as a redundancy scenario. Okay, and then load sharing, so similarly the same topology, go to the same topology now. In if I want to use as a for a load sharing purpose, so both the devices will be active and both the devices simultaneously will take care their live traffic, guys. Data flow will be there in both the devices, so both will be in active state, both will take care their live traffic. Okay, so that in your infrastructure, if you have a more data load, traffic load, right, so they can able to share the traffic load so that it can able to um, avoid the latency in your network and better performance. It will high availability, right, so it will show it will act like a high availability always. It's available as well and better performance, and then it it will avoid the latency as well, guys. Okay, so in that scenario this is called load sharing. Okay, so they are sharing their workload each other. Okay, so that so this deployment, when you have to use where you have where you have, I mean, in which scenario you are having a huge traffic flow in your network. If you're really, if you don't have a budget to uh, purchase one more devices and as a uh, for sharing the load, I already have in a existing Palo Alto two firewalls. I just want to use that firewalls to reduce my network flow latency and then maximum outage, I mean, to avoid the maximum load will given to the any only one firewall. Okay, so in that case, so if you're giving a full load into your particular single firewall, that there is a chance that firewall will be crashed in your protection network due to high CPU utilization and high data processing. So I can avoid that and all when I'm using load sharing. And this is load sharing will be uh, recommendable for highly the maximum data flow, right? Indents of maximum data flow where happen in your network, right? So in that scenario only you can go, you have to deploy your high availability mode as a active mode, guys. Okay, so when you're deploying your Palo Alto firewall in a active mode, so that is called load sharing mode. When you're deploying your Palo Alto firewall only as a redundancy for failover purpose, so in that case you have to deploy in a active passive, guys. Okay, active passive, here you have to deploy in a active. Okay, so clear, guys. So similarly, when you're using a high availability, you can achieve both, so both will be act like one. In case in active passive also, once your active device goes down, your passive device will take care of the traffic. In load sharing also, when your one of the active devices goes down, the rest of the traffic will be carried forward by the another active device. So in that scenario also, load sharing deployment also, it will act like a redundancy as well as load sharing. But when you're using a uh, when you're deploying a active passive, So in that case, it will act only as a redundancy. It will not sharing the workloads. The one data will be in active state. Oh, sorry, one device will be in active state. Another device will be in a standby state. Okay. So both type of high availability deployment you can able to you deploy in your Palo Alto firewall based on your needs. Okay. So this is your types of high availability. Okay. So active, passive, and active, active. Okay, which we already discussed. And when you're using active passive, then that is redundancy type of usage you're going to utilize. And then when you're using active active, both redundancy as well as load sharing, you can able to achieve it. Okay. Clear, guys. So this is type of high availability available in Palo Alto firewall. Okay. So Palo Alto firewall will support the active active deployment and active passive deployment, guys. Today we are going to discuss about the active passive first. Okay. Active passive deployment. Okay. So for that, what are the prerequisites we need to make sure? So I have one in my infrastructure. Right now I'm having linear deployment. Okay, just this is my primary device, active device, and I have only one firewall. So I need to provide my network always in available state. So I need to achieve the high availability. So I bought one more firewall, Palo Alto firewall, and I want to participate this firewall also I want to add under high availability. So in my scenario, my load sharing, I mean my workload data traffic flow is very less. I want to achieve only redundancy purpose. I want to achieve the high availability only for redundancy purpose. So I have decided to go for a, I know what are the type of deployment, high availability deployment we have in a Palo Alto. So active, passive, and active, active. In that, I'm planning to deploy my achieve high availability in active passive mode only, because I am in my networks. There is no intense of too much of intense traffic. Okay, so I want to achieve active passive high availability. So before configure active passive configuration in my both the Palo Alto firewalls, right? So I need to make sure whether I can able to achieve. Let's say I'm having some. This is one of the hardware firewall. Let's say PA200 model, and this is one of the hardware model. Let's say this is PA 5000 series model. Okay, so I have bought two firewalls. Okay, one is basic model, one is mid-level variant. I have it. Okay, so in that case, I want to achieve the high availability. So before purchasing the alternate device, you have to make sure what is your existing device, and whether to achieve the high availability with existing device, what is the criteria you should have. Okay, you need to meet what are the criteria you need to meet to achieve the high availability on your in your infrastructure. Okay, so both the devices have some criteria to participate in the high availability, guys. So that criteria are here, we call it as a prerequisites. Okay, so that prerequisites in active passive mode. Okay, so these are all the prerequisites. In case if you're using a hardware firewall, both should be a same hardware model. Let's say it may be hardware, so one device PA200 and another device, paired device I am using PA5000. So this is not your in this both the devices you are not able to achieve the high availability, because it should both the devices should be same. Either your you should have 5000 series or 2200 series 200 series. Okay, so the hardware model, not only for hardware model, in case if you're using a VM device, VM firewall, let's say we are using a VM50 model as of now for learning purpose, right? So one device is a VM50 model and another device I'm going to use as a with the hardware. It's not possible to achieve the high availability, or else another I'm going to have I'm having a VM100 firewall, so that is different module. Okay, so that is not possible to achieve the high availability. Okay, so the hardware specification, it's mandatory, guys. So the both your both peer devices participants in a high availability cluster, both should have a same hardware model. If it is in a virtual machine, if in your peer device also should be a virtual machine. In virtual machine, if it is in a VM50 model, your peer device also VM50 model. Okay, so both the devices should be same model, same platform. If it is in a platform and model should be same. Here I okay, platform, platform and model should be same. And as well as it's not just it's not enough. I have, let's say, in PA one device, one device I'm having a PA 200, another device also I'm having PA 200, and one device I'm running an operating system with a Palo Alto 9.x operating system, and one device I'm running with the latest operating system versions 10.x. So in that case, both will not participate in the high availability. It will not form the high availability, guys. The high availability cluster will not able to form because both the devices should have a same operating system, either 9.x or not, both. If it is 10.x, either it should be a 10.x. Okay, so operating system version should be matched. Okay. Clear, guys? So, and as well as your deployment. So let's say in your high availability interface deployment, let me show that where it is. So here I'm using my these two interfaces are high availability interfaces, guys. So that I'll let you know later. Okay. So these configuration, right? So HA configuration. So if I can able to use my management interface, or in if it is in a hardware model, there is a dedicated HA interfaces. That interfaces also you can able to use it, or else you can use your data interface as your high availability interface. So in my Palo Alto 1, I'm using my data interface as a HA interface, and my Palo Alto 2, I'm going to use my management interface as a HA interface. So in that case, it will not form the fire, it will not perform the high availability. And likewise, the interface deployment of your infrastructure. Okay, and when I'm going to use active passive mode, so in my active firewall Ethernet 1/1, I'm configuring as a LAN interface. In my passive firewall, in case I have connected my LAN network with Ethernet 1/2, so it may be configured with a high, I mean, it can able to participate the high availability, but the configuration, let's say this device is an active device, so the passive device will be getting copied of your active device configuration only. So as per the active device, the LAN is connected with Ethernet 1/1, but your physical connectivity in your device LAN is connected with Ethernet 1/2. So the connectivity mismatch will be happen. So your high availability will not perform properly, guys. Okay, so the interface deployment should be same. So as it is on my active device, whatever in case Ethernet 1/1 I have selected as a LAN, and 1/2 I have selected as a WAN, and then HA interfaces I have data interfaces I have selected as a HA interface, and the same similar thing I have to select, I have to configure in my passive device as well, guys, another peer device as well, so that I can able to achieve the high availability. Else I'll have some configuration mismatch issue, so I'm not able to perform the high availability in a proper way, guys. Okay, so up to now, so same model, hardware or VM, right? So same capabilities of hardwares, and then same operating system version, same interface deployments, same network connectivity, right? So as well as license setup. Okay, you should have a same license on both the devices. Let's say in my active device I'm having license, and passive device I'm not having any licenses. In that case I have a trial license or normal without any license I'm trying to running on it. Okay, so in that case the high availability will not perform. Okay, or else I'm in my active device I have a hardware license, and so both the devices I have a license, but in active device I'm not having a wildfire license. So wildfire is the one of the feature which help us to detect the zero-day threats. Okay, so that I will explain you later in depth manner. Okay, so that license I don't have, or I'm having a global product license, VPN license, a different version I have. Okay, so in that case it will not perform the high availability. So whatever my active device having the so my primary device having this license setup, the same set of license my secondary device also have. Okay, or else my active device don't have any licenses, your secondary device also should not have any licenses, then it will perform the high availability, guys. Okay, so if anything mismatch, it will not perform the high availability. These are the prerequisites for configuring the high availability, guys. Okay, in active passive mode in Palo Alto firewall. Clear, guys? Okay, so then, so these are the prerequisites. Right now I have, let's say I bought. So based on these prerequisites, I have to decide. So which type of Palo Alto firewall I need to purchase for my redundancy purpose. That you have to select as an administrator. You have to decide, guys. Okay. So as of now, we saw what is high availability. What are the types of high availability we have in Palo Alto, and to achieve the prerequisites, sorry, to achieve the high availability, what are the prerequisites we have to cross check while purchasing the alternate device, right? So that we have discussed, guys. Okay, so now we are going to see the processing the active passive firewall. Let's say right now I have a in my infrastructure I have both the firewalls. I'm ready to deploy I'm ready to participate in the high availability cluster configuration, and I ready to deploy my high in my production network, right? So in that case, so I want to make one device as an active device, one device as a passive device. So the active passive, okay, and election, how active passive election is happen, and as well as to achieve the high availability. So what are the high availability terminology we have in an active passive mode? Okay, that we are going to discuss now. Okay, so the terminologies, what are the type of uh, any requirement we have when you're deploying your Palo Alto firewall as a high availability mode, active passive mode. What is your requirements? What are the requirements in a connectivity based on your deployment or connectivity, right? So that we are going to discuss now. Then how active passive election is happen in your Palo Alto firewall, that we are going to discuss it, guys. Okay, so to achieve the high availability, in case if it is in a checkpoint or ASA or any if it is in a 40 gate firewall, to achieve the high availability, you need to provide the reachability between your both the peers. You need one, at least it's enough, one link, one connectivity is enough to achieve the high availability between the 40 gate devices. Okay, or ASA firewall or checkpoint firewall. Okay, just one high availability redundant link. This link is called redundant link. Okay, so one high availability link, that this is called in Palo Alto we call it as a high availability links. Okay, so that redundant link, one link is enough to achieve the high availability in FortiGate and checkpoint and ASA firewall and all. But when it comes to the Palo Alto, you need a pair of interfaces, guys. You need a pair of interfaces. What? Okay, so to achieve the high availability. So and different type to achieve the high availability, we have a different type of interfaces, HA interfaces in Palo Alto firewall. So what are all that HA interfaces, and what is the purpose of having that HA interfaces, that we are going to see now. Okay, so HA interfaces are HA links which is available in Palo Alto. Okay, so you at least to achieve the high availability in Palo Alto, you should give at least pair of interfaces between your peer firewalls, Palo Alto 1 and Palo Alto 2. You have to provide minimum pair of interfaces to achieve the high availability. That pair is called HA pairs, HA pair interfaces, and that interfaces names are HA1, HA2 interface. Okay, and without any one of the interface, you will not able to achieve the high availability in Palo Alto, guys. Both are different interfaces, both are having different process, but if you want to achieve the high availability, you need these pair of interfaces, HA1 interface as well as HA2 interfaces. Okay, so without these pair of interfaces, you are not able to achieve the high availability. Okay, so you are not able to achieve the clustering as well. Okay, so it's not only having these interfaces, we have another interface as well in HA. So let me show you that. So HA links, or we call it as a HA links here. Okay, or interfaces. So okay, so totally we have a three type of, actually two type of interface only, but another link is backup link, or you can say interface as well here. Okay, so I told you, right? So minimum you need to provide the reachability as a with a pair of interfaces between your peer devices, right? So when you want to achieve the high availability, so that links or our interfaces, high availability interfaces, are control link, data link, and backup link. So you can able to understand the terminology. So backup link, you can provide one more link as a backup for control link, and you can provide one more link as a backup for data link. Okay, so it's backup link is a, just in a backup purpose we are having it. Okay, for redundancy purpose on that link, for that particular links we want to achieve the redundancy as a backup purpose, we are using that link. So that links are called backup links. So that backup links you can give it for your control link, as a you can create one backup link for control link, or as well as you can create one backup link for data link. Okay, so we know what is backup link. So now what is control link and what is data link? So the pair of interfaces, right? So when you're deploying your Palo Alto firewall, high availability active passive, right? So you need to provide the reachability between the peers with a pair of interfaces. One interface you have to decide as a HA1 interface. So this is Ethernet 1/4. In our topology, we have used HA1 interface, and Ethernet 1/5 I'm going to deploy as a HA2 interface. So HA1, what is the previously we were discussed, right? So control link and data link like that. Then here I'm saying that HA1 in link and HA2 link. So it's an alternate name for names for control link and data link, guys. Okay, so HA1 link also called as a control link, and also called as a heartbeat link. Okay, HA2 link is also called as a data link. Okay, also session sync link. Okay. Okay, guys, these are all the alternate name. So if you are using a HA1 interface, that HA1 interface, you have to configure, you are configuring as a control link. Your HA1 interface is a control link, or you can call it as a heartbeat link. Okay, and HA2 interface is a data link, and you can call it as a session synchronization link as well. Okay, so now what is mean by control link, right? So the control link, when you want to achieve the high availability, right? So an active passive. So in active passive mode, one device will be in active, another device, let's say this device will be in an active state, and another device will be in a passive state. Okay, so this active passive election, okay, active passive election will be passing through, will be happen through on your HA1 interface only. HA1 interface will help us to complete your active passive election process by sharing the hello packets. Okay, and so we call it as a hello packet, HA hello packet as well. And as well as it's not only using for HA active passive device election process, and as well as in case your active devices goes down, and it ha your passive device will be become as an active device, right? So this process, will be the each devices will know each other. My peer is down right now in a down state, or my peer is right now in up state. My peer devices running status will be identified by the help of HA1 link. So that's the reason we are call it as a control link. This control is active passive election processes happen through HA1 link, and as well as whether my peers are peer status or in a running state or down state. So that can be identified by the help of HA1 interface. So that's the reason we are calling it as a control link. And as well as after selection of active passive devices election process, and your active device will become active, your secondary device will become a passive, right? So your passive device will getting a copy of configuration whatever your active device after active passive election process. Your active device will take care your live traffic flow in your protection network. Along with that, so very first time your active device will synchronize whatever your active device having the configuration, like your entire firewall configuration will be getting copied via HA1 interface on your passive device. Your passive device will getting copy of your active device configuration set, right, configurations via HA1 interface, guys, which means control link in HA1 interface or control link. Okay, so configuration synchronization, whatever, it's very first time it will, as an administrator you have to push that configuration synchronization manually. Then after that, whatever the changes in your protection network, so in your active device, after high availability synchronization is successfully done, right now your active devices carry forward the traffic. As an administrator, you're creating some rule on your Palo Alto firewall act and your active device, because your passive device in a um, silent mode, right? I mean, it's in a standalone mode, right? Sorry, guys. It will be in a upstate only, but it will not carry forward the traffic. It will be in a monitoring state. Okay, so it will monitor the status of your active device availability. Okay, so it will not take care the any traffic, and you cannot configure anything on your after that you can't able to do any changes on your passive device, because whatever you are changing it in your active device, that configuration changes will be taking a copy of copy into your passive device. Okay, so after that, whatever the configuration you are changing in your active device, that configuration also getting copied. Configuration will be synchronized automatically in your passive device by the help of control link only. Okay, so right, so configuration synchronization, and then high availability election process, and then my failover status. Okay, in case your device is my primary devices goes down, my secondary will automatically come up to the picture, right, as an active device. So that identification will be I will be getting via HA1 link. So this my active device, passive device status, up status, runtime status will be shared in your HA1 interface by the help of heartbeat packets. Okay, this heartbeat packet is just an ICMP packet only. Okay, so they will they will exchange. I mean, the active device will exchange the heartbeat information with the passive device, and passive device will always waiting for the um, sorry guys, always waiting for the heartbeat packet. Okay, in case your passive device will not getting three consecutive heartbeat packets, okay, via your HA1 interface. So that might be any reason. Maybe HA1 interface may down, or maybe your device, your active device may be down. Any reason. So it will not get three consecutive heartbeat packets from your active device. Your passive device will decide your active device is down, and we have to come up to the picture and we have to take care of the live traffic. So your passive device will come to the active mode, guys. Okay, so clear. So that, and as well as it, in case three consecutive heartbeat packet is lost by your passive device from your active device, then your passive will decide your passive is in a down state, hardware machine in a down state. So we have to take care of the traffic. And in case your machine is not down, but your connectivity, your LAN connectivity or WAN connectivity is having issue, so your LAN interface is down or WAN interface is down, but your active device is still on state, and it can any one of the interface only down. So in that scenario, so what will happen? So still we need to achieve the high availability. So the status of your active devices interface status. Okay, the interface status of your active device will be passing through your HA1 interface. So HA1 interface is responsible to get the active passive election process through hello packet exchange. So while exchanging the hello packet, they will exchange their information like what is their, so what is their priority ID, and then what is, sorry, device ID and everything they will exchange. So that process is a different process, active passive election process, that I'll let you know later. I mean, uh, after completion of this. Okay. Next topic is the active passive election process. Okay. So now what is control link and data link we are going to see, guys. So control link will participate in the active passive election process, and as well as control link will get the hello pack, I mean heartbeat information to check the uh, availability of your peer device, your active device availability. In case the active device is available, but your active device link is down, link state, any one of the link is down. So link status of your active devices. Okay, active device, and or you can commonly say the status of your active device status, like maybe link may be down, or logically your device may be down, or physically your device may be down. Okay, so that information, that status info will be passing through your HA1 interface, and along with that, whatever you're configuring, that configuration synchronization will be done on your HA1 interface. Okay, then what is HA2 interface will do? So these are all the process will done by your HA1 interface, guys. Okay, so then what is HA2 interface will do? HA2 interface is called data interface or data link, HA2 link or HA2 interface. Okay, so now my active device is running properly, and some of that some of that session is passing through my active device right now. Unfortunately, my passive device, sorry, my active devices goes down. Now my active passive device will come up to the picture, and it has to respond responsible to carry forward existing session which is already initiated on my previous active device, and that also your passive device, when it is come to the active state, it's need to carry forward, right? So in that scenario, your passive device right now doesn't have any idea your previous active device session info. Okay, so in normally in that scenario, normally what it will do, it will reinitiate the, even though it is already existing session, this firewall, this session is not conducted by on this firewall, so this firewall reinitiated the ex- existing session. So meanwhile, what will happen, your existing session will be getting dropped, some few packets will be I mean existing session will be dropped, and it will be initiated as a new session. So yeah, user need to reinitiate all the session again, guys. Okay, so to avoid that, so your firewall, it's not a, if your firewall is not able to understand your existing active devices session information, then we are not able to achieve the high availability in a proper way. So the existing firewall, active firewall session info will be exchanged on your data link. Okay, so your data link is responsible for session synchronization. So in case right now both are, I mean, your active device is working fine, but in case of anything your active device goes down in future, the device, your passive device, need to know your existing session infos on your active device. So that session synchronization will be done on your ha2 interface from active device to passive device, even though active device is working fine. Okay, so that session synchronization. Okay, session synchronization, and it's not enough to synchronize the session, right? So to carry forward the traffic, so your firewall also already for active session, firewall is having some for active sessions having some data like NAT table, NAT info, and routing table for that traffic, and ARP table, and VPN states, right? IPsec VPN essays, right? So your device, these are all the maintained, these are all the need we these are all the info we need for existing session. In case of your primary devices goes down, your secondary device, passive device, need to know your existing session info to give in a, to achieve in a proper way, to carry forward the in a proper way. So these NAT information, routing information, destination route, and ARP table, and then VPN security association informations. So these infos need to be know, your passive device also need to know to carry forward your existing previous I mean your active devices sessions. Okay, so this info will be maintained by the data. This info will be exchanged through your ha2 interface only. So NAT table, session table, okay, and then NAT table, route table, and then ARP table, right? And then VPN essays and more, right? So these infos will be passing through data interface, guys. Okay. So whatever the data, for whatever the info we need to exchange the data traffic, so that info will be getting getting copied via your ha2 interface. So that's the reason for we are calling it as a data link. Okay, it is which is maintaining the data information, data traffic informations. Okay, existing session information, NAT table, route table, right? And then ARP table and VPN essays. Okay, and sessions, right? User info, all will be maintained this via, we will be getting copied into your secondary device via ha2 interfaces. So that's the reason we are saying the pair of interfaces is mandatory to achieve high availability in Palo Alto. So by using ha1, you can able to detect the status of your high availability devices, and you can able to getting copy the existing configurations which is done by your active device in okay, that will be getting copied into your passive device. But the regarding existing session informations will be passing through your ha2 interface only, whatever the data we need for existing session. So that will be passing through your ha2 interface only, guys. Okay, so that's the reason these two interfaces are mandatory. Any one of the interfaces down, you will not able to achieve the high availability in a proper way. Okay, clear, guys? So I hope now you guys are clear what is ha interface, and what is ha1 and what is ha2 interfaces, right? Clear, guys? So theoretically, I hope you guys are having idea what is ha1 interface and what is ha2 interface, and what is the importance of ha1 and ha2 interfaces, right? So now we are going to get into the active passive election process. Okay, so after the active passive election only, your one device will be an active device, one device will be in a passive device. Then active device will getting pushing his configuration into the passive device. Okay, so that and all will be happen hereafter only, right? So how I'm having a two firewalls, so I want to achieve the high availability, and so I want to make one device as an active device and one device as a passive device. How it will be? it will be decided. Okay, so the elections active passive election process will be decided. So I'll automatically, actually basically it's an automated process. Okay, while exchanging the hello packet between between your peer devices when you're performing the high availability. Okay, so when you're started to synchronize the high availability clusteration. Okay, so through HA1 interface, that hello packet or heartbeat heartbeat packets heartbeat packet while exchanging the before exchanging the heartbeat packet, they will exchange the hello packet, normal hello packet. In that they are going to say, so what is, so in this hello packet is going to have some info like to select the active passive devices. Okay, so that process are called device priority. Okay, device priority. Let me show you that. And then, okay, so via device priority by default, it is setting as a 128, I think so, 100 or 128. I'm not sure by default value. Okay, so you can set it's a numerical value from 1 to 255 you can give it. Okay, and if your both the devices are having same high priority, I mean same priority device like Palo Alto 1 and Palo Alto 2. Okay, this device having a device priority 100 and this device is having a device priority 200. So this device priority you can set manually. This is manual process. Okay, and if you are having a um, least integer value, that will become a highest, that for your Palo Alto will give the highest priority. Okay, so which is having least integer value, that device will have a highest priority, which is having highest integer value in your device priority. So that will become a secondary device, guys, automatically. Okay, so while exchanging that hello packet, they will exchange the device priority information. Okay, so in that case, by using that, you can able to you can able, I mean, the device will be which is having least priority, that will be, I mean, least integer value on your priority. That is for that least integer value, Palo Alto will give the highest priority to select that active device. So that device will become active. This device will become active. And in case both are same, I'm not giving any manually. I'm not giving any device priority. Let's both are in the same. Let's assume it's in a 100 default value. Okay. So in that scenario, while they're exchanging the priority, additionally they will exchange in a hello packet their hardware info serial number. Okay, so in that which is having the least serial number, that will become the active device. So let's say both the firewalls are having, both firewalls are will have a serial number, and serial number is a unique number. So which is having a least serial number, that will become a active device, guys. Okay, so the in case your device priority is same. Okay, so when very first time when you are going to initiate the high availability between the peer devices, so these are the process will happen to select the active passive devices. Okay, so after, so this is while participate in the high availability cluster formation. Okay, and after that, after high availability formation is done, and unfortunately your one of the devices goes down, your passive device will become active now. So in that case, after your pass active device is down, your passive will become active state, right? So in that case, after fixing that error, my previous active device will come up to the, I mean, come into the normal state. Okay, so now this is will be active. Previously, this is an active state, and now it is down. Okay, so now your passive is in active state. So now this active device is previous active device is getting fixed. Now I want to make this device again as an active device. So it should have a okay. So in this time, device priority will not help you, even though it has least device integer priority value. I mean highest device priority. Okay, so which is having the highest device priority, which means least integer value in your priority ID. Okay, so even though it has a least integer value, it will not able to perform active role again. Okay, the sorry guys, the priority value will help you to participate in the active passive election process while forming the high availability cluster. After forming the high availability cluster, your device days goes down, and then it's if you want to get back the role as active again. So in that scenario, we have alternate option called preemption. Okay, preemptible or preemption, guys. Okay, so that preemption means rollback, getting my role back. Okay, I'm just like we are doing a control is it like that. Okay, so roll back, just fun guys. Okay, so roll back, getting my role back. I'm just when you're using a preempt option, so these preempt option will be enable, I mean you need to enable on both the devices, active device and passive device, while configuring the active passive configuration both the devices. The preemption option you have to enable it, guys. Okay, clear? The preemption option you have to enable in both the devices. Clear, guys? So then only your previous active device, once that is fixed, the all the issues are getting fixed, then your previous device will come up to the picture again. It will become an active device. Okay, if you are enabling this preemptive option only on one device, that is not possible. The both the devices you need to enable preemptive option, guys. Okay, so in that case you will get a you again your active device will become active when you're enabling the preemptive option, guys. Okay, and okay, and after that, so this link monitoring and heartbeat monitoring via HA1 interface is it's going to happen. So in case your high avail already I told you, right? So both the devices are, I mean my previous active device, my active device is running now. One of my active device LAN interface only it's down. So in that scenario, my LAN user is not able to reach the LAN gateway. So we need to achieve the high availability. So your HA1 interface, your peer device will monitor your HA active devices status by link wise as well. So for that you have to enable link monitoring. So any one of the link is down, your active device will, even though it's physically it is running, right? So logically your device will go to the down state and your passive device will become the up state, guys. Okay, so that so in that scenario again your passive device will become active state. Okay, so by the help of link monitoring feature. Okay, both the devices are I mean already my existing active device is running, physically it is running fine, WAN link is working fine, but my LAN link is only having some issue. So this is not comes under the hardware failure or software failure, it's in a network failure, right? So in that case, that status also passing through your HA1 interface, so that so that your passive device will become active again, guys. So okay, so by the help of link monitoring process, again it will get the active passive election will be happen. Okay, I mean the role will be exchanged. Okay, and like heartbeat monitoring, so that is your HA interface. In case I told you in a earlier stage, right? So in case if your firewall, the passive device will not getting 3 consecutive heartbeat packets, let's say due to your HA1 interface is down, some link disconnection has happened, interface maybe interface is not working, port is not working, or link is crashed. Okay, so might be any reason. So but because of that your firewall is running properly, your active device is running properly. Okay, your active device is running properly, but it's not getting any hello packets from the active primary device, yes, active device. So because of your control link is down. Okay, so in that case with 3 consecutive heartbeat information is not getting, then your device will become an active state again. This is will be again active, and this will be known also an active state. So in that scenario, you will not able to achieve the proper high availability. So it's very important in a real-time production network. You should provide the backup link. So that's the reason here we have a backup link. Here your backup link do its role. Okay, backup link. You should need a one more link to achieve the HA1 link. HA1 link is the very important link, whether your active device is running or not, or any issue with the happen in your active device status, right? So that will be exchanged through HA1 interface only. So better to have a one backup link in your HA1 interface, maximum high availability in your production network, so that you can achieve maximum high availability in your production network, guys. Okay, so these are all the HA links, and these are sorry, these are all the process to select the active passive role in your act while forming the high availability cluster in in Palo Alto firewall, guys. Okay, clear. And then final things, we come up to the final stage in a theoretical session. After that, we'll do lab, guys. Okay, so this is your high. So while performing the high availability active passive election process, and while achieving the high availability, what are all the stages your firewall HA cluster firewalls mm, need to cross? What are the stages? In which scenario, what kind of state it will come? That firewall comes under the what kind of HA status? Okay, so first you have a five different states in a HA configuration. Okay, while performing the high availability. Okay, so first one is initial state. So initial state, it's both the devices in normal, they are going to ready to perform the high availability. They are going to exchange the HA negotiation through HA1 interface, hello packet exchange. Okay, HA1. So whatever their device priority, what is their device name, whatever the device priority, what is the serial number, what is the license setup it has, what is the operating system it has. So these informations will be exchanged through hello packet very first time as a in an initial stage HA negotiation, guys. Okay, while performing the cluster very first time initial, both will exchange that hello packets with their peer. Okay, so about their hardware information, and then operating system information, and then license setup, and then what is the IP address in HA1 interface, and what is the IP address in HA2 interfaces. So all this info will be exchanged through initial state in while performing the high HA clustering. Okay, HA negotiation. This stage is called HA negotiation, or you can say it's an initial state. Okay, so it's not performing the high availability. It is going to almost they are trying to form the high availability cluster. Okay, initial stage. Okay, and the second state is an active state. Okay, so I'm talking about the states available in active passive deployment only, guys. In active deployment, you have some other different, along with that, you are going to have another states that we will discuss while doing the active. Okay, so in active state, so after initial negotiation, they will perform the HA election process. After election process is done, one device will become based on the scenario, like the highest device priority, or manually, or if it is both are same, least um, sorry guys, least serial number which is having, right? So based on that, the active status, stage will be process will be selected. Okay, after that, one device will become active in case this device is having a high least integer value in your priority, device priority, so that will consider as the highest priority. So that device will become a active device. Once if it is active, and that firewall is ready to forward the all live traffic and carry forward the live traffic, and it is ready to configure whatever it's having that configuration. It's ready to synchronize that configuration, guys, whatever the configuration it has, and it is ready to synchronize the configuration with your passive device. And that is active state. And this device will, when your active firewall will only in a active state, and passive firewall, the secondary firewall after the active passive election, it will, which is having the higher least, I mean, most device priority, so that will become a passive device. Okay, so once it is become a passive device, it will ready to getting the configuration synchronization with your from active device to pass your this device, passive device, and it will ready to get the session information from active device to passive device, guys. So this is called a passive state. And then fourth and fourth state is non-functional state. So this non-functional state may be happen in the initial stage while exchange the while HA negotiation is happened. So in that case, if your configuration mismatches happen, like your device configuration mismatch, so maybe your both the devices are not having same set of models, same set of different set of licenses, or right, so different type of deployments. So in that case, it is not able to form the high availability. This error state is called non-functionable state. Both the devices will not able to perform the high availability perform I mean, not able to process the high availability election process. So it's because of some configuration mismatch. So that is called non-functional state. Okay, that is called non-functional state, guys. Okay, and last one, final stage, suspended state. That as a user you can suspend your act to test your high availability in a real-time production network. To test your high availability, you should not shut down your active device and to cross-check your passive is working fine or not. So in that case, you have a one option. So you can suspend your active device so that your passive device will become active. So by using the suspended function, you can able to logically shut down your active device, not physically. Okay, and your passive device will become upstate and it will carry forward your live existing live traffic, guys. Okay, so this stage is called suspended state. So that will be done by user manually. Okay, so suspended state. Okay, these are all the states available in Palo Alto high availability, guys. Clear, guys. So I hope you're clear in that high availability active passive theoretical session. So